country should feel terribly guilty about anything because they have had a better life here and their fathers and mothers than they would have had anyplace else.
Do you know the shocking secrets behind Hollywood's biggest stars? From secret crimes to jaw-dropping confessions, these untold stories will leave you stunned. Stay with us, you won't believe what's hidden behind the fame. Number 20, James Stewart. James Stewart, famous for his roles in classic films like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and It's a Wonderful Life, was seen as the ideal, healthy, all-American character. Stewart won people over with his friendly nature and down-to-earth personality. He seemed like the ideal neighbor. However, underneath the charming appearance on screen, there is a history that reveals a more complicated person. Stewart reportedly wanted to replace black actor Hal Williams, who played a police officer, during the making of his 1971 TV sitcom, which suggests he may have had racial bias. This decision not only overlooked Williams, but also showed the bias in Hollywood at the time. Stewart is said to have used racial slurs while filming The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and made the situation worse by putting a stain on his otherwise perfect reputation. Even his friend, actor Henry Fonda, was influenced by his ideas. Their political disagreements led to a physical fight, and they decided to never discuss politics again. Although Stewart is seen as a moral guide, his actions reveal a troubling side that is different from how he usually is viewed. But Henry Ford's legacy of discrimination shows just how much influence one man's beliefs can have. Number 19, Henry Ford. Henry Ford revolutionized American industry, creating the assembly line and making automobiles affordable for the masses. His contributions transformed manufacturing and cemented his legacy as a business titan. But beneath his achievements lay a deeply troubling history of discriminatory beliefs and actions that overshadow his industrial genius. Ford used his platform to spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, pushing them in his newspaper, the Dearborn Independent. The content was so inflammatory that it received praise from Adolf Hitler, who regarded Ford as an ideological ally. Ford's anti-Semitic beliefs permeated his business, influencing his hiring practice and tarnishing his reputation. Beyond targeting Jewish people, Ford also enforced strict control over his workers' lives. He dispatched inspectors to ensure employees conformed to his Americanization program, which forced immigrants to abandon their cultural identities. His factories maintained racial segregation, reflecting the systemic prejudices of the era. Ford's disdain for organized labor culminated in the 1937 Battle of the Overpass, where unionized organizers were brutally beaten under his direction. Despite his industrial innovations, Ford's legacy is riddled with controversy, showing how power can amplify harmful ideologies. If Ford's actions shocked you, wait until you hear about the troubling truths behind Hollywood's smoothest voice. Number 18, Paula Deen. Paula Deen was once loved as the top Southern cook in America. She built a food business with her rich recipes and warm personality. Her recipes, restaurants, and TV shows made her very well known. In 2013, Deen's good reputation fell apart when a case and later information showed troubling racial views. The conflict began when Lisa T. Jackson, the manager of Deen's restaurant, filed a lawsuit saying she faced racial and sexual harassment. Deen testified in court that she had used racial slurs in the past. She was influenced by an incident at a diner where black waiters were dressed like slaves, in white jackets and bow ties. She then said, surprising everyone, that she was planning a Southern-style plantation wedding for her brother. These admissions showed a woman whose views on race seemed stuck in an outdated and biased time. People responded quickly. Many people thought her apologies, including some YouTube videos, were insincere attempts to protect her job rather than her real reflection on her actions. Sponsors, including Food Network and Walmart, severed ties with Deen, leading to a significant downfall for the once beloved TV chef. If Paula Deen's story left you stunned, wait until you hear about Anthony Cumia, whose social media outburst ended a decades-long career. Number 17, Anthony Cumia. Anthony Cumia, a co-host of the popular radio show Opie and Anthony, spent nearly 20 years building his career with edgy humor. Known for its bold statements, the show thrived on debate. A Twitter outburst in 2014 damaged his job and reputation, though. The episode began when excited photographer Cumia said a woman approached him in Times Square while he was taking photos. Instead of handling the issue privately, Cumia went on Twitter and posted a series of racist and angry messages directed at black people, specifically at one woman. His harsh words and savage account of his attacker triggered a quick response. Even though steps were taken to reduce the situation, Cumia's tweets were strongly criticized, and the damage was lasting. SiriusXM quickly fired Opie and Anthony for behavior that went against the company's values. This decision divided his audience and marked the end of his 10-year partnership with the show. Later, Cumia attempted to come back with his own podcast, but the scandal showed the dangers of social media and the responsibilities that come with having a platform. If you think Cumia's downfall is surprising, Roseanne Bar's experience shows how one tweet can destroy a career. Number 16, Roseanne Bar. In 2018, Roseanne Bar was doing very well. Her show Roseanne became very famous in the 1990s and had returned to TV, receiving a lot of praise and breaking viewing records for ABC. Bar seemed unstoppable until one tweet changed everything. Bar tweeted racist comments about Valerie Jarrett, who used to advise Obama. Late one night, Bar tweeted racist comments about Valerie Jarrett, who used to advise Obama. She compared black women, Jarrett, to an ape. The response was immediate and surprising. Colleagues, critics, and fans called her statements mean and rude. ABC quickly canceled Roseanne, even though it was popular, and said they wouldn't accept that kind of behavior. Barr tried to explain her actions by saying it was caused by the sleep drug Ambien. But the damage was already done, so her apologies were mostly seen as insincere. The cancellation led to hundreds of cast and crew members losing their jobs, which also impacted Barr directly. ABC had relaunched the show under a new name, The Conners, but it no longer features the original main star, Roseanne. Roseanne's downfall was sudden and dramatic, but Megyn Kelly's story highlights how serious the effects of not knowing history can be. Number 15, Megyn Kelly. Famous TV show Megyn Kelly is recognized as a political expert and news anchor. She was well known for her strong interviewing skills and was one of Fox News' most recognizable figures before moving to NBC in 2017 with a very public $69 million deal. A mistake she made ended her NBC job, though, in just a few days in 2018. Megyn Kelly talked about blackface and outfits in a Halloween segment on her show. Megyn Kelly said, "When I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing like a character," she said in a contentious comment, perplexing her as to why blackface was deemed disrespectful. Her comments sparked anger because they ignored the harmful past of blackface, which has been used to insult and mock black people. There was a fast and widespread response. Critics, viewers, and co-workers even said her opinions were not relevant and unsuitable. Her short time at NBC ended when the network quickly dropped her show and replaced it with reruns. Kelly apologized on TV, but by then it was too late to fix things. Her comments were seen as part of a larger issue, ignoring the harmful effects of being racially insensitive. If Kelly's mistakes surprised you, keep listening. The next story looks at another controversial figure who shaped public opinion in different ways. Number 14, Walt Disney. Walt Disney, the creator of Mickey Mouse, built a company that has shaped global culture for many years. He seems kind of on the outside, but his image is marred by past conflicts that are overlooked by the lively classics. Former employees have varying views on what Disney is like. Some people praised his leadership, but others, like animator Bill Melendez, describe him as having troubling views. Disney's most contentious relationship was with Nazi propaganda master Leni Riefenstahl, whose visit to the site drew criticism. A 1938 business letter revealed gender imbalance in the studio's policy by refusing to hire women for creative roles. It wasn't just the hiring practices. Disney's movies from this time had issues with how they showed racial stereotypes. The Crows in Dumbo and the entire Song of the South are good examples of this. Disney hired Floyd Norman, its first black artist, in 1957, long after the studio became popular. Disney was a leader in animation and entertainment, but these details make the memory of a man who created magical and creative worlds more complicated. These issues today have sparked important discussions about whether we should reassess past works and distinguish between the art and the artist. If you think Walt Disney's story raises questions, well, wait until you hear about John Wayne, whose comments and actions surprised both his fans and the Hollywood community. Number 13, John Wayne. John Wayne, known as the Duke, was an American hero on the big screen, starring in films like True Grit and defining the rugged cowboy archetype. With his 6'5" stature and iconic voice, John Wayne embodied strength and justice. But behind the persona of a national icon was a history of troubling statements that revealed his deep prejudices. In a shocking 1971 Playboy interview, Wayne openly expressed support for white supremacy and criticized Native Americans, stating that they were selfishly trying to keep their land. These comments shocked the public, clashing with the era's progressive civil rights movement. Wayne dismissed the struggles as marginalized groups, positioning himself far removed from the ideals of equality. His biases extended beyond interviews, when activist Sacheen Littlefeather declined Marlon Brando's Oscar in 1973 as a protest against Hollywood's treatment of Native Americans. Well, Wayne reportedly had to be restrained from physically confronting her. While Wayne's career remained unaffected during his lifetime, his legacy has since faced scrutiny. Recent debates have centered on whether public spaces, like the Orange County Airport, should bear his name or not. For many, his words and actions represent an outdated ideology that no longer aligns with contemporary values. But if you think John Wayne's story is startling, well, the next Hollywood legend shows that even the most wholesome images can hide deeply unsettling truths. You won't believe what lies behind this icon's charming smile. Number 12, Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby, with his smooth voice and timeless hits like White Christmas, became one of the most beloved entertainers of the 20th century. His image as a charming and wholesome family man cemented his status as a cultural icon. But behind the crooning and charisma lay a much darker side of his legacy, one marked by troubling racial undertones. Crosby's career thrived during an era when entertainment often perpetuated harmful stereotypes. Despite forming a genuine friendship with Louis Armstrong and supporting African American artists, Crosby engaged in practices that were deeply problematic. His performances in blackface, a practice inherently rooted in racism, appeared in at least 4 films. Notably, his 1954 film White Christmas featured a song Mandy, which has origins in minstrel shows. These choices reflected the normalized racial attitudes of his time, which Crosby, like many entertainers of his era, perpetuated without question. While Crosby held admiration for talented black artists like Louis Armstrong, his casual use of racial slurs in private conversations, as noted by his peers, painted a very different picture. This contradiction between his public support for inclusion in music and his private behavior highlights the complexities of his legacy. Like his contemporaries, Frank Sinatra and Judy Garland, Crosby's participation in acts reinforcing racial stereotypes serves as a reminder of the deep-seated biases embedded in Hollywood during his prime. And if you think his story is unsettling, well, wait until you hear how Don Imus's words toppled decades of success. Number 11, Don Imus. Don Imus, a legendary radio host known for his sharp humor and boundary-pushing commentary, dominated the airways for over 3 decades. His show, Imus in the Morning, became a staple of American radio, celebrated for its irreverent tone and satirical edge. But Imus's career took a shocking turn in 2007 when a single comment erased decades of success and sparked nationwide outrage. During a broadcast, Imus referred to the Rutgers University women's basketball team as nappy-headed hoes, a statement that was immediately condemned as racist and misogynistic. The backlash was swift and severe. Civil rights leaders, including Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, launched campaigns demanding accountability. Initially, NBC and CBS attempted to mitigate the fallout by suspending Imus for 2 weeks. However, the growing public outrage made it impossible to contain the controversy. Both networks ultimately fired him, ending his long-running radio career overnight. Imus's remarks wasn't an isolated incident. His humor often skirted the line of acceptability, earning him the nickname good-natured racist in some circles. But this time, his words crossed a line that could not be ignored. The incident became a pivotal moment in media, highlighting the consequences of offensive rhetoric in a changing cultural landscape. Surprisingly, Imus found a way back into broadcasting less than a year later, launching a new show on WABC. While his comeback demonstrated the resilience of controversial figures in entertainment, it also sparked debates about accountability and the ability of public figures to recover from scandals. Imus continued his career until his retirement in 2018 and passed away in 2019. But if you think Imus's fall was dramatic, well, the next story takes the impact of words to an entirely new level. Number 10, Don Cherry. Don Cherry, a legendary hockey commentator, spent over 4 decades as the loud, unapologetic voice of Coach's Corner. Known for his flamboyant suits and even flashier opinions, Cherry was beloved for his passionate takes on Canada's national sport, hockey. But in 2019, his career came to an abrupt end when he made a comment that many considered blatantly xenophobic. During a segment on Remembrance Day, Cherry criticized people of Toronto for not wearing poppies to honor veterans. His words, however, went further than a simple observation. He said, "You people love our way of life, love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies." The phrase, "you people," was widely interpreted as targeting immigrants, sparking immediate backlash. Sportsnet, Cherry's employer, quickly acted, issuing an apology on his behalf. However, Cherry refused to back down, claiming he stood by his words. Sportsnet subsequently terminated his contract, marking the end of his long tenure on Coach's Corner. For many, the incident symbolized the growing intolerance for outdated and divisive rhetoric in public spaces. Cherry's fall from grace became a polarizing topic in Canada. Supporters argued that his words were taken out of context, while critics pointed to a history of controversial remarks, including his opposition to European hockey players and his criticism of Colin Kaepernick. But if you think Cherry's outspokenness was shocking, well, Walter Brennan's deep-rooted prejudices tell an even more unsettling story. Number 9, Walter Brennan. Walter Brennan, a 3-time Academy Award winner, was best known for his warm, grandfatherly roles in westerns and family comedies. His performances earned him a beloved place in Hollywood history, but his off-screen beliefs painted a starkly different picture. Brennan harbored extreme political and racial views, which he actively promoted throughout his life. A staunch member of the far-right John Birch Society, Brennan viewed the civil rights movement as a communist conspiracy. His paranoia ran so deep that he built a bunker at his home, preparing for what he believed was an inevitable Soviet invasion. Brennan's extreme beliefs extend to his public commentary as well, where he used his platform to spread divisive rhetoric. He even exploited his iconic character, Grandpa Imus, to voice controversial opinions. One of the most troubling aspects of Brennan's legacy was his reaction to the deaths of civil rights leaders. Accounts suggest a lack of empathy and deeply ingrained racial prejudices that sharply contrasted with his on-screen persona. His fears and biases ultimately overshadowed the warmth he brought to his roles. But if Brennan's stories feel like a dark chapter in Hollywood history, well, Taylor Selfridge shows how a few tweets can erase a budding career in the modern age. Number 8. Taylor Selfridge. Taylor Selfridge, a rising star in MTV's Teen Mom OG, seemed to have a promising career ahead of her. Known for her relatable personality and journey into motherhood, Selfridge was set to star in her own special segment. However, in 2020, her past caught up with her when old tweets from 2012 and 2013 resurfaced, exposing a troubling side of her online presence. The tweets were undeniably racist, including one where she wrote that she wouldn't get black customers at work because they scared her. Although MTV was aware of these tweets before casting her, the growing momentum of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020 forced the network to take a stronger action. The network pulled Selfridge's special just before it aired and terminated their relationship with her entirely. Selfridge attempted to downplay the situation by posting on Instagram that leaving reality TV was her decision, claiming it no longer aligned with her values. She also accused MTV of double standards regarding the behavior of cast members. However, her explanation did little to quell the backlash. The damage was already done, and her career came to a halt. If you thought Selfridge's tweets were career-ending, Abby Lee Miller's alleged behavior toward her students revealed an even more personal level of prejudice. Number 7. Abby Lee Miller. Abby Lee Miller, the fiery dance coach from Lifetime's Dance Moms, gained fame for her no-nonsense approach to training young dancers. Her sharp tongue and intense coaching style made her both feared and admired. However, in 2020, allegations of racist behavior shattered her reputation and led to the cancellation of her upcoming show. The controversy began during the Black Lives Matter movement when Miller posted a black square on Instagram in solidarity. This gesture prompted Adriana Smith, the mother of former student Cameron Smith, to come forward with troubling allegations. Smith accused Miller of making racist remarks, including saying, "I knew you grew up in the hood with only a box of 8 crayons, but I grew up in the country club with a box of 64. Lifetime responded swiftly, canceling Miller's new show, Abby's Virtual Dance-Off, and cutting all ties with her. Miller later apologized on Instagram, claiming she regretted her actions and had learned from her mistakes. However, many viewed her apology as insincere and too late. If Miller's story is shocking, well, Harley Sawyer's career collapse shows how old tweets can ruin even a superhero's image. Number 6. Harley Sawyer. Harley Sawyer, best known for his role as Ralph Dibny, the elongated man on The Flash, was a fan favorite for his comedic charm and heartfelt moments. But in 2020, Sawyer's career came crashing down when offensive tweets from his past resurfaced, revealing a troubling side to the actor. The tweets, which dated back several years, included racist, misogynistic, and homophobic remarks. One tweet jokingly referenced making offensive comments about Al Sharpton, while others contained derogatory language targeting women. Although the tweets were written before Sawyer joined The Flash, their content was deeply problematic, sparking widespread outrage. Sawyer attempted to apologize, posting a lengthy statement on Instagram expressing regret for his past actions and claiming that he had grown as a person since then. However, his apology did little to mitigate the backlash. The CW, the network behind The Flash, quickly announced that Sawyer would not return to the show's upcoming season. they issued a statement reaffirming their commitment to creating an inclusive environment and making it clear that such behavior would not be tolerated. If Sawyer's story shocked you, well, stay tuned for the next revelation about a public figure whose words left an unforgettable mark. Number 5. Lea Michelle. Lea Michelle rose to fame as the talented and ambitious Rachel Berry on the hit show Glee. Her vocal prowess and captivating performances won over millions, making her a standout star in the series. However, in 2020, Michelle's reputation took a hit when former castmates accused her of fostering a toxic work environment, revealing a side of her that many fans hadn't expected. The controversy began when Michelle tweeted her support for Black Lives Matter movement after George Floyd's death. In response, Samantha Ware, a fellow Glee cast member, accused Michelle of making her time on the show a living hell. Ware alleged that Michelle engaged in racist microaggressions, including threatening to shit in her wig and other demeaning actions that undermined her experience. Ware's revelation opened the floodgates for other cast members to share similar stories, painting Michelle as a bully behind the scenes. Michelle quickly issued a public apology, claiming she did not recall making such remarks but expressed regret for any pain caused. However, her apology faced criticism for being vague and focusing on her attentions rather than addressing the impact of her actions. The backlash led to swift consequences. HelloFresh, a meal kit company Michelle partnered with, cut ties with her, citing their zero-tolerance policy for discrimination. The fallout highlighted a significant issue in Hollywood, the treatment of people of color on set and the responsibility of celebrities to create inclusive environments. For Michelle, the accusations not only tarnished her public image, but also raised broader conversations about power dynamics in the entertainment industry. If you thought Michelle's fall from grace was shocking, well, John Mayer's racial insensitive remarks in an infamous interview reveal how poor choices can leave a lasting stain on a career. Number 4. John Mayer. John Mayer, a Grammy-winning musician celebrated for his soulful voice and exceptional guitar skills, has long been a staple in the music world. However, in 2010, an interview with Playboy revealed a troubling side of the artist that left fans and critics questioning his character. In the interview, Mayer made a series of racial insensitive and deeply offensive remarks. When asked if black women found him attractive, he responded by comparing his dating preferences to white supremacy, stating, "My expletive is sort of like a David Duke card." He also used the N-word, attempting to justify it by claiming his connections to black culture gave him permission. These comments were not only shocking, but revealed a lack of understanding about race and privilege. The backlash was immediate. Fans expressed outrage, while critics condemned Mayer's tone-deaf attempt at humor. His remarks overshadowed his music, painting him as someone who trivialized important social issues. While John Mayer issued an apology, admitting that he had been trying to be provocative and humorous, the damage was already done. His words exposed a significant gap between his public persona and the reality of his insensitivity. Following the controversy, Mayer took a step back from the public eye, retreating from interviews and focusing on his music. He later admitted that the backlash taught him valuable lessons about humility and the consequences of careless language. Over time, Mayer worked to rebuild his reputation, emphasizing his growth and efforts to become more self-aware. If you think Mayer's comments were startling, well, Paris Hilton's shocking admissions about her past behavior add another layer of complexity to the legacy of an icon. Number 3. Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, the heiress turned media mogul, rose to fame in the early 2000s with a reality show, The Simple Life, and became a pop culture phenomenon. Known for her glamorous lifestyle and iconic catchphrase, "That's hot," Hilton built an empire around her public persona. However, her rise to stardom was not without controversy. and revelations from her past reveal a darker side to the socialite story. In her 2023 memoir, Hilton candidly addressed troubling moments from her early years. She admitted to using racist and homophobic slurs in the past, behavior she attributed to a combination of trauma and youthful ignorance. Hilton detailed her experiences at Provo Canyon School, a boarding facility where she suffered emotional and physical abuse. She explained how the trauma she endured, coupled with alcohol use, often influenced her behavior. "Sometimes I was just wasted and being an effing expletive," she confessed. When Hilton took responsibility for her actions, acknowledging that her behavior was inexcusable, the revelations sparked mixed reactions. Many praised her honesty and willingness to confront her mistakes, while others questioned whether her admissions were an attempt to rehabilitate her image. Hilton used her platform to advocate for survivors of abuse, launching campaigns to shed light on the practices of institutions like Provo Canyon School. If Hilton's admissions surprised you, Justin Bieber's past racial jokes reveal how even youthful mistakes can leave an indelible mark on a star's career. Number 2, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, who skyrocketed to fame as a 13-year-old YouTube sensation, captured the hearts of millions with his music and boy-next-door charm. However, his early success was marred by controversies, including one of the most shocking moments in 2014, when videos of Bieber making racist jokes surfaced. The first video, recorded when Bieber was 15 years old, showed him telling a joke about black people, repeatedly using the N-word. In a second video, Bieber sang a parody of his song "One Less Lonely Girl," replacing the lyrics with the N-word and references to the Ku Klux Klan. The footage was deeply disturbing, revealing a side of the young star that contradicted his public image. The backlash was swift and widespread. Critics condemned Bieber's remarks as offensive and ignorant, while fans expressed disappointment. Bieber issued a public apology, acknowledging his actions and expressing regret for his behavior. He explained that he had since educated himself about the impact of such language and vowed to use his platform to promote inclusivity. Despite his apology, the incidents raised questions about the culture surrounding Bieber during his rise to fame. Many wondered how such behavior went unchecked and whether those around him enabled his actions. While Bieber has worked hard to rebuild his image, dedicating himself to philanthropy and faith-based initiatives, the videos remain a blemish on his record. If Bieber's story shocked you, Donald Trump's controversial words and policies took the discussion of race and privilege to an entirely different level. Number 1. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, is one of the most polarizing figures in modern history. Known for his brash personality and unfiltered rhetoric, Trump's career, both as a businessman and a politician, has been marked by repeated allegations of racism and divisiveness. Trump's controversies began long before his presidency, though. In the 1970s, his family's real estate company faced a lawsuit from the Department of Justice for discriminating against black tenants. The lawsuit accused Trump management of systematically denying apartments to black applicants while approving white tenants. Trump denied wrongdoing but settled the case without admitting guilt. In 1989, Trump took out a full-page newspaper ad calling for the death penalty for the Central Park Five, 5 black and Latino teenagers wrongfully accused of assaulting a jogger. Even after DNA evidence exonerated them, Trump refused to apologize, insisting they were guilty. As president, Trump's rhetoric and policies continued to stir arguments. His remarks about Mexican immigrants during his 2015 campaign launch, calling them racists and criminals, set the tone for a presidency often criticized as racially insensitive. His administration's travel ban targeting predominantly Muslim countries and his response to the 2017 Charlottesville rally, where he said they were very fine people on both sides, further fueled allegations of racism. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories. Click the next video popping up on your screen. You won't want to miss what's coming next.